drive when you can smoke and fly. Beat or dash, they got to legalize. All my heroes are botheads.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Comics on Cannabis, where we talk everything from cannabis, sports, movies, anything pop culture. It is where cannabis and entertainment meet.
All my heroes.
That was not me, actually.
I love that, too. You know, we could play it again if you want.
No,
but,
I'm good.
Just letting you know, it is a cool place to hang out, and we have the greatest peoples here. I am your host, Ed Cho, and, of course, next to me is co-host Derek Michael. What's up, D?
Hey, man, I'm good.
Behind the board, that's running all that great music, is Christian Cord. What's up, Christian?
Hey, guys, how you doing?
We love having Christian here.
Long time no see.
A long time no see. It's always good to have you, my
we
friend.
did what 3 weeks ago, maybe
2-3 weeks ago.
It's been a minute.
Yep, and you love our.
I do. I love
our
your intro
song.
so much. I've played it twice now.
We love.
Excluding the wrong one I played.
Yeah, that was a little bit weird, but
Garden State guys.
If you're those guys, I'm sure
include that.
If you're Nick would probably love that. So off to a great start. Today we actually have an amazing podcast. Last week we did a cannabis convention. It was called Boardwalk Buds. There was food trucks there, wrestling, cannabis vendors, and of course there was stand-up comedy. And we were lucky enough to host Friday's show and work with the guests that we have here today. Kicking it off, we do have Mr. Kevin Garfo. What's up, Kevin?
What up, boys? Good to see everyone again, man.
It's awesome. We have Brianna Benovich. What's up, man?
Hey. Good to see everyone again. I'm doing good.
Good. Tony Watson. I'm going to think outside of me and Derek being high, Tony out of the whole crew here is probably a little high. Am I right on that one?
Nope.
No, you're not. Okay. I wasn't sure with Tony. You were so quiet at the other one. I was like, he's so high at the other show. What's that?
Nothing.
And basically, the headliner we had for the night is the funny Laura. Hi, Laura's here.
What's up?
What's up, Laura? And the guy that ran this really awkward show that we're going to be talking about, the engineer and sound guy for all the events that took place at Boardwalk Buds, Mr. Jason Spatz. What's up?
What's going on, guys?
How you been?
Wonderful. I've been on vacation for a week.
Well, you know what? I appreciate you taking time out and joining us and all these wonderful comedians.
Well, next time he engineers a show for us, he's got to bring the laugh track.
Yeah. I was trying
Absolutely.
to explain to Christian what exactly happened at this show, and it's like nothing I've ever done before in my years of doing stand-up comedy. So what ended up happening, and for people that are listening, we had a show, obviously, at Boardwalk Buds. It seemed like the energy was there.
In the very beginning.
It seemed like there was going to be a great show. People were all ready to go. And I think in the comedy world, as you guys all know, when you do a show, the first comedians, you know, the ones in the beginning of the show are the ones that kind of take the bullet because people have to warm up. People have to get ready.
Get the ball rolling.
People get their drinks on. You know, people want to get ready to laugh. This show took a weird turn in where if you went on first, everybody was lucid. Everybody wanted to laugh, but obviously being a cannabis event, everybody got incredibly stoned as the show progressed.
And the show started at midnight.
And the show started at midnight. And for some reason, like the show just ran out of gas. Was really strange. I've never had that before where it started off really great. And I don't know about you guys. I mean, I'm talking this to every one of you guys. I thought the pulse of the night when we started was pretty darn good. Did anyone else feel that as well?
I mean, like I had the privilege of going first.
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting because, like, I was so happy with how my set went. I was so excited. And I was like, yeah, I really pumped the crowd up. Ball's in your corner now. This is going to be a great night. And then it just, like, died right after that almost.
Exactly. When I first got up there hosting, I thought it was going to be great, too. Yeah.
It was shaky at best to me. Like, I felt like from the beginning, we were playing with fire. Like, that's like my read on it was like, it was going to be a roulette no matter what. Because for just like kind of like letting everybody know, like this was after a full day of everybody smoking pot and drinking for an entire day. And then at midnight, we had a comedy show and they were allowed to continue drinking and smoking pot throughout the entire show.
Right.
So to me, this was like saying that like the energy was like great up at top. I'm kind of like, to me, like it was already like entering it. It was like, oh no, we were already in a war zone and it was just about ducking bullets the entire time.
Yeah, and just to follow up on that, I feel like, because I think I went up after Brianna, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think you did. Yes.
On Friday night, and
no, it was the guest spot first, and then you.
Yeah, it was the wrestler. Yes, that's correct. It was the wrestler. Yeah.
And it was by far, I think I took like the biggest bullet that night, and it was because like I felt like they wanted to laugh at what they wanted to laugh at, like they didn't have.
To back you up though, the second night that we did, because we did 2 shows, the second night you freaking crushed.
Right.
You crushed.
Thank you.
And I just want to make sure that everybody knows that he crushed.
I appreciate that very, very much. But the first night still happened. and I just felt like they didn't have the patience for like a setup and a punch. They just wanted they wanted you to like really just be like a jerk and just talk and random and have a conversation.
I'm just gonna say, dude, for just to cut in here, that I was laughing my ass off in the back when you said that was a funny joke. You're just not smart enough to get it. Yes, you did.
Well, actually, I you know what? All of us, I don't know if he was laughing, but me, Laura, we were like, "Oh my god!" We're like, "Oh my god!"
I was thinking that's one way to go.
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys are gonna ask me to like remember a lot of this weekend, this is gonna be a very short podcast.
Yeah, right. I remember, even the night was just memorable overall. I mean, even Jason was like even saying, because Jason essentially ran the show. Like whoever was supposed to run that show. I don't even know. Jay, were you supposed to run that show? You just kind of ended up getting the baton and running.
No, they walked up to me and went, "There's just a list of the comedians. Bye." And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm a sound engineer. I'm not a producer. You're not paying me to produce. Which in the end, I will tell you this, they took care of me for everything I did for them, and I'm grateful for that. But at the beginning, it was, "Here's a list of comedians. Bye." And I'm like, wait a minute. What do you want me to do with this? Like, I mean, I've worked comedy shows a million times in my life, so I knew what to do. But for me, it was like, this isn't my job, but I'll do it, I guess. Whatever.
Yeah, well, it seems like Jay was like looked like you were like having like almost like a breakdown. You're like, "Oh my god, like what do we like? What do I bring you up? Do I do the timing? You know, like how are we gonna do? Do we play music in between?" But you pulled it off. I mean, you pulled it off without a hitch. I mean, you did a great job.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that. For me, it was just like something needed to get done, so I did it. But like with no direction from the people who were paying you guys. Like, I didn't know what they wanted. Right.
You didn't even recognize me on Sunday. You didn't even know I was on the show.
No, I didn't. I was on hour 35 at that point, and
he thought I was part of the ring crew for the wrestling.
I did. At that point in that night, I had already had a fight with the general manager of the building, trying to shut the entire convention down, and I cursed him out, which I give no crap about. Are we allowed to curse here, by the way?
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I gave no fucks about cursing him out because he's like, "We're shutting this down," and I'm like, "You have 2 security guards and 400 people in a hardcore wrestling match going on. You shut this down, there's going to be a riot." And he's like, "I don't care." I'm like, No. I care. My daughter's in the room. So I just, at that point, it was like hour 35, Kev, and I was just like, "Oh, I'm lost."
Right.
You know.
What they want to shut it down
weekend.
for?
Yeah, I was about to say, why would you want to shut it down?
Okay, ready? You ready? Here's the punchline to this whole joke: for smoking weed at a weed convention.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow,
Wow.
really?
I mean, you advertise a weed convention.
Yeah, I've been to other weed conventions. Like we podcasted.
The one in Brooklyn.
We've been to Brooklyn. We've been invited to go to.
Everybody was smoking there.
We've been invited to go to all these other podcast conventions. This I'm not podcast cannabis convention. I apologize. This was the weirdest group of people at a cannabis convention. Like these were some strange people that were just kind of zoned and zooted out. Like normally they're not like that. Like when we did Brooklyn or the Freedom Fest, or we got invited to go to Boston this year. It's and I've been there before. They were just right. Am I wrong about that? Did you guys not see? Like these guys were like really zooted out, which is fine. I mean, you want to go and have a good time, and you want to have, you want to smoke weed, you want to watch wrestling, and I get it, but I mean, it was a little weird.
I mean, it's also Atlantic City. Like, if you're going to Atlantic City for the weekend, you're going to be trash.
That's
absolutely.
very, very true. That is very, very true.
For me, as a longtime resident of Atlantic City and growing up in New Jersey, and Kevin is too, we just got legalized pot in this state.
Yeah.
4 months ago, 5 months ago. So I think people are still celebrating that and going a little overboard. But yeah, if you're in Atlantic City, you're getting trashed for the weekend. These people just took it to a whole other level, I think. And listen, I hope they start selling weed in Atlantic City. It helps revitalize the town. As someone who works there and spent most of my life there, but
they will. They have the micro licenses. They'll get some there. They'll probably have a major distributor within the year, I bet.
Yeah, the big companies are going to come in and they're going to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's definitely a weird crowd.
It was definitely a weird crowd, and I was when I met you guys, I was so looking forward because every time, well, you guys know you're stand-up comics, so every time you do a show, especially a bunch of shows with other comedians you've never met before, you're so like, oh, am I gonna click with these people? Are they gonna be funny? Or you're just so excited. So when I met you guys, like seriously, I mean, I thought each one of you guys were so like awesome. Didn't I? Even I was telling Derek, I was like, everybody here was just absolutely amazing, just good people. What I felt really, really, really bad about, probably one of my low points ever being a host happened that Friday. Because I didn't know any of you guys, right? So I wrote everything on my phone that I brought everybody up with. Okay, what ended up happening is for some reason it deleted some of the names. So when I had to bring up Kevin, no, I forgot his name, so I had to play it off like, well, just come on out here and go off on your podcast, and I was like, one of probably the lowest part of ever being a host. I forgot his name, and
it's so funny that
I want to apologize. I want to apologize for that, just so you know that was terrible.
Wow.
So basically, Ed, what we're saying is that Friday night was your fault.
Yes. Ed's fault, 100%.
For me being absolutely terrible was your fault.
It might have been. You see,
I got to tell you, dude, I really do like the fact that I'm seeing an Asian having problems with his computer.
Yeah,
it's comforting to me.
I thank you very much.
It is also funny that you guys forgot Kevin, considering your co-host looks like the dad from Home Alone, sort of.
Yeah. Yeah,
Nice.
That was nice. Props to that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But there you go. It was weird because I was trying to gauge, like I was trying to put away, like seriously, like the crowd in general.
Right.
I was like, you know what? I want to hear their jokes. I want to hear their personalities. I want to hear they're funny. And each one of every one of you guys are so funny. Every one of you guys has such great jokes. So it really does bring to the point of just being comics where I don't know if you guys agree, but I always say, you know what? It's never the comic. It's always the crowd.
I completely disagree. I think that's no offense.
Yeah.
I think that's a cheap answer.
Really? Do you really?
I'm sorry. I think that's a cheap answer. I think 99 out of times it's the comic, not the crowd. I think that's if you start doing that, that's going to bring you down a really dark pathway as a comic.
See, here's the thing with me, just to defend that, the only reason why is because I would do the same jokes and I would have a bad crowd, but then I would destroy it with the exact same set. like 2 days later. So I'm thinking it can't be the jokes. It can't be me.
Yes, it can. It
obviously
can
it's the crowd.
totally be you. That's
pretty
how
sure
it
it was.
goes.
I mean-
That's how it always goes. It is you. Like, no, like, you're a great comic. Let me put this out. You're a fabulous comic, but that is you. It's your energy. Because there are so many times where it's like, yes, you'll do a fantastic show at 8 o'clock, and then you poured out all of your energy in that 8 o'clock show, but then you bomb on the 10 o'clock because you didn't reserve anything else in the tank. Or because maybe in the 10 o'clock show, you just said a joke slightly off, or maybe you didn't read the audience well enough, and maybe they needed a little bit more crowd work than what you did. No, it's if you get in the habit of blaming the audience, even if it is the audience, you're gonna get yourself in trouble as a stand-up comic.
Well, I don't know if I blame them. I wouldn't go as far as I blame
I think
them.
it's just the same as throwing money at problems.
Thank you
Not
for
that
that.
I wouldn't like to do that.
See, like, I feel like it's a mixture of, like, knowing your audience, too. Because, like,
Right.
for this show, I told a lot of orgy jokes. That's a fun thing to say on any podcast.
No, it's great.
No, like, and it killed for this crowd. But then I did one show in Philly, and the audience, like, they literally all looked like Jake Paul and Logan Paul. For some reason, like, the audience was just all, like, weird boat kids. Don't know how that happened, but it happened.
Wow, that's a great crowd.
I appreciate the orgy jokes.
That's
They
what we should have
like
done. We could have put up signs that said we're having an orgy here. We'd have filled up the whole top
That
tier.
would have worked. Yeah, everyone high.
Honestly, that would have worked.
At a show like that, I think that
It
would have
been
worked.
all guys, but it would.
I really couldn't even see most of the crowd except for the second row that was falling asleep because they were so freaking
Yeah, I know. I was
stoned.
worried one of
Oh,
those.
no, it was just all smoke.
You know,
It was the smoke was just kind of billowing.
Yeah,
it was,
yeah,
it was
couldn't
kind
see
of
anything.
billowing off of it. Have you guys ever done those
I feel like I was
cannabis before? Or?
a house fire, sort of.
Well, it was almost like that. You got up there. I remember even Brianna
Yeah.
was saying it's, you can see the smoke just kind of wafting through,
Yeah.
just hitting you in the face. Have you guys ever done a cannabis thing before? Like, have you guys ever done like a show like that in front of cannabis people?
concentric crowd.
Yeah.
Well,
Not-
I mean, I'm sure I've done shows in front of tons of high people.
I've
Yeah.
done cannabis themed shows, but not like
Like a
something
branded show, no.
yeah,
That was the first
I
one.
had
Not comedy.
I had a show at a
No,
dispensary
I've done
that
shows
same
with
night.
tons of.
We're losing some audio here.
You did. I'm sorry.
There
I
we
think you did shows with what?
I had a show at a dispensary that same night, like that Friday night in New
nice.
York, but it got canceled. So I'm not going to count that. Yeah. But I was booked there. So
Is that the Weed World Candy one?
I think so, actually.
Yeah, it's Weed World Candy ones. It's like Weed World Laughs or
Now,
something.
did the
Yeah.
Sunday show go until? Did it start at 12 as well? Or
No, that started at
Nope, we lost him a little bit.
Oh.
Storming over here. Well, we missed you. What time did that show start?
the Sunday show?
8.
8. Okay.
Oh, that started at 8.
I was on.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
you guys got a much better time.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. People are done with dinner. They're ready to have some drinks.
You guys must have been excited about that one, knowing that was going to happen at 8 o'clock show instead of
Yeah.
a midnight show or 11:30
Yeah,
show.
definitely.
Wait, our show is at 8?
No. Our show was at midnight.
Oh, wait. What?
Wait, it wasn't at 8? Who said 8?
Oh, maybe he was talking about the dispensary. Wait,
Oh, the
from
dispensary
before.
show.
Maybe
Oh,
that's
yeah, no. The Sunday show is also at
but the crowd was more energetic.
Well, he said it was canceled. Tony said it was canceled.
No. But their show,
Oh, their
at
show,
the
yeah.
casino,
Yeah.
was more energetic.
Well, hold on.
so-
Wow, Tony. Well, I'm sorry. You had a show at 8 o'clock, and then you were gonna get done, and then you were gonna drive to Atlantic City for this game.
Yes. All right. I'm back.
That's dedication right there, man. Bravo.
But it got canceled because he sold no tickets. So I didn't end up going to do that one.
It's sold.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
Wow.
pulled the show.
You know,
Such a bummer.
it was. Jay, did you work? You worked at the last night's comedy show too? Did you run it?
Yeah, I was there the whole weekend.
All right, so you ran. So you can attest that that show went just a little much smoother.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It was a much different audience. They were a lot more sober because they stopped everyone from smoking and basically told people that if you smoke, we're shutting down the event, like it or not. Which again, I don't understand how you have a weed convention and
then
tell
I
people they
proceeded
can't
to
smoke.
go vape into the bathroom, and nobody suspected anything.
Nice.
How can you actually do that?
Hey,
How
it's okay.
don't smoke at a convention like that?
Very strange.
I don't know, but I know Tommy was lighting up in the dressing room, and I'm like, dude, like
Right.
we're gonna get us all busted and thrown out of here.
He
It's like, come on.
that's an interesting guy. Like, may I ask your opinion? Did he perform on Sunday as well? He did, right?
Yeah.
That
he
guy?
hosted.
The wrestler, yeah. The wrestler,
That
right?
made a huge difference too, making him go earlier in the show.
Did he do well on Sunday as well? Or did he do better on Sunday? I'm assuming everybody did better, but did he do well on Sunday? Because I know he said he was a new comic, so.
I don't remember.
He did okay.
Did he do better when he went up at the beginning or when he went up after the headliner?
Don't remember.
That is the weirdest.
I can't imagine because a lot of people were leaving when we left.
He went on after Laura. That just doesn't make any sense. Like, was it his idea to go on after Laura, or did someone say,
nobody knew? Nobody knew what was going on.
No, he just went up and he did about 5 minutes. He was hosting, and so he you could tell, like, you know, he's I want to be really, really careful with this because he's a really sweet guy, really nice, and
he was awesome. Yeah.
And him and I talked a bit, like, in between sets, and he was like, what advice do you have as a host? And so, like, this was something where it was like, this is something where, like, he's totally new, and I can't explain enough to anybody. If you've never hosted before, it's terrifying. Like, I remember the first time I hosted, I am surprised I left the building standing. It went so badly. So we were watching somebody learn how to host for literally the very, very first time, who really had no idea, like, the rhythm of anything. And so give him a year and he's going to be great. And I think he just was trying to figure out what the right thing to do was. And so he was definitely doing things in definitely more, I'm going to use the word, like, an unconventional way.
Yeah.
So, you know, he brought up Brianna cold. He did 5 minutes after me. Different kind of hosting pattern. Hadn't seen that one before.
Yeah.
But you know what? To me, it was like, yeah, this is his first time hosting. He's not sure what to do. And it was something where it wasn't an exact, clear delineation of who was in charge. And I think that was something that, you know, we were all sort of figuring out as to going like, okay, I guess we're constructing the show. That's cool. Because that's what happens a lot is when you don't produce a stand-up show, when you've never produced a comedy show, you have no idea, like, actually what goes into it, which is, again, totally normal. We've all gone through that. That's happened. But yeah, he definitely, we were just watching a comic learn.
Right.
And
We were watching.
And if I can just piggyback on that, that's 100% what it was. We were watching him learn and make his mistakes that we've all made a million times over.
Oh yeah.
And it's to the point where, like, if I have the option of either hosting or doing a set, I'm not taking the hosting spot.
Right.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm doing the, like, even though, like, you can never host too much, and I'm sure you guys know that, because the more you host, that literally makes you better at doing, like, 10, 15, you know, sets.
Oh yeah.
It just completely, like, evolves you and matures you as a comic, because you're the one that has to take the bullets for everyone else.
If you get
Like,
good at
that's
hosting,
your
though, too,
responsibility.
it's a good way to, like, get in the foot in the door for clubs. Because, like,
Of course, you get an
if you're
MC
real
job.
good at hosting,
Yeah. It's really weird though, because the host, I agree with Laura said. It's a totally different monster, you know, of just keeping the show going.
Absolutely.
But it's weird. Like, you guys are all in the industry as well. It's kind of like you have your show, and then you're like, well, he's the host, and it's amazing because people look at the host as someone that is not as funny as the featured comedians, which is really odd because it's such a different talent. And you have to, if you really think about it, if you're the host, you almost have to be as funny, if not funnier, than the comedians before you bring them up.
Well, especially
I
depending.
actually would disagree with that. I don't think it's the host's job to be funny. And I think that if you're looking at as you have to be funnier than everybody else, then that's actually not your job.
No,
It's not your job.
Your job is the setup to all the other comics.
No,
Your job is to start the show, basically.
but
Just get
you
people
want to keep it
engaged.
going. I think you want to just make sure you keep the energy flowing. And to do that, you have to be funny.
But
Well, you have to be funny, but it's also, I think, but to me, and my experience of hosting, and any of the hosts that like, you know, the people who like have been hosting for like 20 plus years, literally all will tell you the same thing of like, it's not about you being funny. If that's your intention going into it, you actually are missing the point of being a host.
Yeah.
Your point of being a host is to go in and you're essentially the host of a party. You're making everybody feel welcome. You're making everybody, you know, happy and keeping the energy in the right mood. And yes, bring out those jokes when you need them, because if you do have a comic bomb, then yes, it is your job to pick the room right back up. But it is not your job. But going into it thinking my first job is to be funny, that's the wrong way to look at it as a host. And again, like, this is just like, if you, one of the really good you know, fabulous, you know, I don't want to like promote any other podcasts on this, but there's a great host named James Mattern who his entire yeah, I know James Mattern, literally the best goddamn host in the city. If anyone has ever not seen James Mattern host, go see James Mattern host. Best fucking host. And he does a podcast all about comedy, and he has episodes and episodes about hosting. And he literally says, like, it's not your job to be funny. It is not about you.
Right.
It is not about you at all. And that's consistently something you hear from people who've been like a professional host for 20 plus years. And I fully agree with it.
It's amazing, because just being the host, even if you're not funny, you better just have a great personality. You better be someone that you like.
Absolutely.
You better, like, you can't be up there and just be dry. Like, you better be someone that the audience is going to connect with and like. You know?
And some people have those faces.
It's just true. Some people just have that likability. Yeah.
I can understand, like, if you're like new to opening for like big headliners, like how you'd be nervous and you'd think like, I should bring out my A material if I'm hosting.
Yeah.
Like, I could get that, you know, but like that'll go away, I'm sure. If once you get used to like doing shows with people like that, you'll probably get into more of like, you know, the opening the show mindset. But yeah, like if I got a big opportunity hosting for somebody, I would probably bring out a couple like pretty popular bits of mine, you know, just to kind of like get that out there in front of people and be like, hey, I am funny in case you want to check me out later, but I also have a job to do. So like, yeah, I don't know.
Well, here's the thing, I guess, with hosting is, I guess it also all depends on how much you are allotted up front by the producer or the promoter.
Yeah.
So if they say, hey,
very true,
do 5 to 8 up front, or 3 to 5, 5 to 8. Like 3 to 5 is different. You could bullshit with the people for 3 to 5, but like 5 to 8 or 8 to 10, you have to have jokes and you have to make them laugh and you have to get them in the mood to see what they're prepared for.
Right.
Like, what are they going to see tonight?
Yeah.
You set that tone. And Laura, I totally agree with you about James' point. It shouldn't be your primary objective, but
Exactly.
you have to you set the tone for what this crowd is prepared to see.
Yeah.
So
No, I definitely agree, and I feel like it's always best for a host to like kind of start with a set, even if it's a few minutes, because being brought out cold is so awkward at times.
right?
Like literally on Sunday when I was brought out cold, like my mom was sick that night and I was getting sick as well. So I was like, okay, I'm first, but I have like 3 minutes to like prepare myself in the bathroom. Nope. It was
literally standing next to you, and I just saw your.
Okay.
We all of us just were like, "Wait, what?"
literally like, he walks out on stage and is like, "Hey, how's everyone doing?" Okay, Brianna Benosic. And I'm just like,
oh my God, I forgot about that.
like it was so fun.
Wow. Thank you for coming.
That affects me. Yeah. That affects me as being out front too, because I'm setting up, like on that show, I was setting up a timer, so I'm starting his time, and I don't have music ready to bring you on because you would actually ask me for a specific song. So the minute he hits the stage, I hit his music, I'm looking up that song, And I'm like, and he's like, it's Brianna. I'm like, well, crap. Like
Right,
I wasn't ready either, and it's just one of those things. Now, Laura, let me just ask you a question. In general, did that upset you that he went on and did 5 minutes after you?
I don't know,
went on?
because again, it doesn't. Okay, it doesn't have one. It's not my show. Like if this was the Laura High show, sure, but that's not what this was. This wasn't. I wasn't producing this.
It was a high show, all right, though.
Yeah, it was a high show.
Yes, it was.
No, and also again, as I said before, like the guy he was new, and I knew he was new, and he was very sweet. And again, he was asking me questions about hosting and how you do it. So for me, it was
he was asking them while he was on stage. It was very awkward.
And I was like, so for me, like I saw it, and he was experimenting. He was like, oh, okay, so because I did a good job, so like the audience was good. So he was like, okay, maybe I'll take advantage of this and like go do some more minutes. I get it. I understand his thought process. It didn't make me upset in the least bit. He's learning. Again, the amount of dumb shit that I have done on stage, and I have tried, and I've been lucky enough to have such wonderful, generous comedians around me who go, okay, that was cute. Maybe you shouldn't do that again.
Yeah.
And that to me is like, as us who have been in the game a few more years than that can, I think, letting him go like, okay, well, you did that. Now, you don't do that again. And we'll see him in a few years. He's going to be great.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't want to bury the guy either.
I wonder if anyone actually told him the fact.
No, he's a
that
great
he doesn't
guy.
do that.
No, he's
No,
awesome.
he was
I've
funny.
never hosted a show before. Like, I couldn't even imagine.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like he is totally like what he did. Like he got thrown so much more than what he should have been thrown. That he took on, like, and we've all had those jobs where they kind of look at you like when you barely have 5 minutes, and they're like, oh, you can do 20, right? And you're just like, sure, why not?
Yeah.
We've all been there, and that's why. So for me, it was like he did great. He did a great job. He learned a lot, so no, not in the least bit mad at him. He was learning, and I'm super happy. I love watching comics learn.
Absolutely.
I guess it'd really be no reason to be angry at him. I mean, there would really be no. I mean, right? If the guy's got a shot on it. Going back to Jason there. I mean, he was like saying he was looking. Oh, I gotta get music. Does that mean you didn't play Kung Fu Fighting?
No, I did not.
No.
You weren't there. It wouldn't have made any sense.
Yeah, just so everyone know, he played Kung Fu Fighting when I came out, which is it's a great song to come out to, just so you know. Either that or Hong Kong Fu.
It worked.
It worked beautifully. The only thing missing was a gong.
That stage
I
is
thought it was
so
great.
Yeah, and that stage is so large. It's not like Gotham or anything like that, where you've got 5 feet from the audience to that stage. You coming even from the back, it's 27 feet basically to center stage. That's a walk. You're not doing that in a couple seconds.
Oh my God, that's so true. I didn't even think about that. Like when I was back and forth on Friday, I'm like, damn, I gotta walk far to get to the friggin'.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
I didn't even think about
stop,
that.
Have people handing you cups of water.
It was just far. Until you actually said that, I didn't really realize. I was like, yeah, this is pretty friggin' far going back and forth like that.
No, I realized far because I didn't know what I was doing with my body during the walk. I was like, I'm waving, I'm still walking.
Is
this the runway?
I was like so tempted to just like sprint at one point just so I can like hurry this up.
Right.
Oh wait, I'm not there yet. What's
Brianna, so you kicked it off into high gear. You were early on Friday, and I guess you went first on Sunday. So you essentially were the
took 2 bullets.
Yeah, you were the first one up there, right? I mean, for both shows.
Yeah, I was the first one up for both shows. It's interesting because only for personal reasons, because I was like, my mom was sick on Sunday and I was getting sick too. Mm-hmm. Which, like, literally, it was like as I'm getting ready to go on stage, I like felt myself getting sick.
All right.
And I was like, shit. I was like, this is the worst feeling ever. So Friday night, like I was happy with it, and then Sunday night I was like, I know this is a better crowd, but I gotta hurry this up, or I'm going to like shit on stage.
Well, that would have been funny. I mean, we could have played music to that and see how that would have came out.
Honestly, yeah, like I could have been, very experimental with it, very Jackass Steve-O style.
Right.
But I was like, I am too young in the game to go like full Johnny Knoxville. I gotta get out of here.
Just so you know, I people still make. I love
Yeah,
Jackass.
you would not have been the first
Yeah,
person.
definitely.
Jackass is still one of my favorites. I just absolutely love it. So what's that? So yeah, once again, just to wrap it all up, you guys were just so amazing to just do comedy with. I learned so much from every one of you guys, and you guys are just great people. What's next for you guys? I mean, like what's going down with you? Like Kevin, what's up for you, man? What's next? Where are you performing? And what's gonna take you to the next level there, Chief?
Oh, well, I don't know about the next level, but I produce a show in West Orange, New Jersey. We'll be doing that tomorrow night at the Oak Barrel Pub in West Orange, New Jersey. Google it. Myself, my co-producer, Rich McDonald, and some other great comics. Joanne Filan, I think is going to be there. God, I'm terrible at this. But it's going to be great. Tomorrow night, it's free. So there's your free comedy. It's outside. It's going to be fun. Hopefully the weather holds up. The podcast, the Shining Wizards Wrestling Podcast, we do every Monday Night Live, which is great. And by the way, Ed, guys, I got a big pop that you guys are at a shared universe. I just found that out.
Yeah.
Like literally right now, like before the show. And because KP Burke is a good friend of mine, American Loser Podcast.
It's a great podcast.
Yeah. Ming Chen, who's the nicest guy I've ever met in my entire life.
Yeah, he's all right.
So shout out to that's I was sitting literally at that exact table not too long ago. That's awesome. Anyway, yes, Shining Wizards Kevin Garifo on Twitter, at Shining Wizards Kevin on Instagram. Thank you so much. This is awesome. You guys I love all of you. It's incredible.
Yeah, we're gonna. You know what? We're gonna bring you back here into the studio then too. Now that you're so familiar with it. True.
Yeah.
You're welcome to come back. Tony, what's up with you, brother?
Oh yeah, I have a podcast. Curious Cats podcast, both K's. They're both spelled with K's. And then I have a show this Saturday at a festival that is headlined by old rapper Mike Jones. If you guys know who that is.
Rapper Mike Jones.
Yeah.
Mike Jones.
That's
that Mike Jones. Yeah, I'm performing 3 p.m. outside.
Oh, nice.
And Mike Jones is going on at 9. So if you want to show up 6 hours before he goes up and watch me,
and it's worth it. It's funny.
Do 10 minutes to all the other comics on the show. Then 3 p.m. this Saturday in Columbus.
Nice. Awesome. And Brianna.
I mean, I'm still at the 2 a.m. open mic phase of my comedy career, but this is like my first year doing like stand-up comedy. So if you're up at 2 a.m. in Philly, I'll be doing open mics there, and I have a YouTube channel, Brianna Benozich, and I finally made a TikTok, which is also my name.
She's a TikToker now.
Oh, nice.
Finally.
Hey, come find me.
I know. I got to. I'm trying to figure it out. I feel like an old lady on like TikTok, like just trying to figure out what each button means.
What's your handle?
I think it's just my name. I think it's just Brianna Benozich.
Brianna, just so you know, you putting it out there that you just started, like once again, I even asked Derek, when we saw you, we thought you were just great. Everything up there, just how
100%.
your jokes,
thank you.
we just thought you were amazing. So the fact that you've only been doing this for a year is just a testament to how talented you really are.
Thank you. Oh, that means so much.
Yeah, just so you know. And Laura. You were just doing a road gig, weren't you? So you're really busy.
Literally, I flew. I went from Atlantic City immediately to Newark, and I just got back from South Carolina. I performed 8 shows, 30 minutes each. I was featuring for Bob DeBono, fabulous comic, and so that was great. And then I came back. And it's hitting the ground running tomorrow. I'm going to be on Long Island. I've got shows in New Jersey. I actually just booked. I'm really excited. First time I'm announcing it. I got booked to headline for 4 shows right outside Chicago in August. So
congratulations.
Thank you. I'm very excited. There's more shows that are coming up. The contract is not signed, so I can't announce them. But So more stuff is coming. So for me, it's very. So if you want to come see me, follow me. I'll always post all my shows on Instagram or at Laura High Five. Also, my website, www.laurahighfive.com, will always have a list of my show schedule and a link in my tickets. But always, I'm very active on TikTok at Laura High Five. I'm almost at 150,000 followers. So
Yay!
Nice.
150, because that would be really cool. And then I've got also a podcast called Shantae We Say, which is a RuPaul Drag Race fan podcast. Super niche. Very niche.
That's incredible.
But I know it's super niche. But let me tell you, the drag race world is deep. It is a deep, deep fan base. Big drag queen fans in this house. And then, yeah, I think that's... But yeah, tomorrow I'm in Long Island.
So
And as
Laura,
soon as it's date and time, I will post it.
Laura is just crushing it. And Jay, I know you're Mr. Tech, but can people hire you? Like if people need a tech guy or if they need anything like that, where can they find you?
Yeah.
Or,
On Facebook under my name, Jason Spatz.
and
Because I
so if
don't
you-
have a podcast. I don't have a TikTok.
But what you do know how to do is run a comedy show. So
Yo,
if
Apparently.
I don't want to cut you off. This dude was the unsung hero of the weekend.
Oh yeah,
For everything, for comedy, for wrestling. The guy was. I was at wrestling shows. This guy was running around all
Doing it
weekend, and I think that deserves to be mentioned. And so, thank you, Jay.
yeah. Like you,
Yeah, that
you,
was
were-
awesome.
you were
Kayfabe
absolutely
words.
amazing.
Thanks for the pop.
Like all you guys, once again, all you guys are just absolutely amazing. We were talking about this even before the podcast started. That we all want to like do a small tour, just a fun thing, just hanging out with these guys again because we love hanging out with you guys. Absolutely amazing. Comics on Cannabis alone too will soon be doing like fun little mixers. We've been getting a lot of feedback for doing like cannabis mixers, things like that. People getting together, having a little small party thing. So obviously, you guys will just have to be a part of that. You know, that would just be really pretty awesome.
That should be
just
a lot of
having you
fun,
there
yeah.
too. But just having you guys here was amazing, and I want to thank everyone else.
All of
for
our shows will start at midnight.
They're all going to start at midnight just for you guys. That's the anniversary. But thanks everyone for listening to another episode of Comics on Cannabis, where we do talk everything from cannabis, sports, movies, anything pop culture. It is where cannabis and entertainment meet, and just a cool place to hang out. And if you want to continue to hang out with us, please do so at comicsoncannabis.com and or of course follow us on at Comics on Cannabis. You guys have absolutely been amazing. I cannot wait to perform with every one of you guys again. And if not that, just maybe just go out and have a drink or a beer and just hang out with these cats.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah,
these guys
man.
are great.
Oh, yeah.
Love every one of you guys, man. And I'm looking forward to keeping in contact with you and hopefully do some more stand-up.
Take care,
Yeah.
guys.
Anytime.
Later, guys. We are out.